The Viper, Randy Orton.
Yeah, I think it's safe to say that Randy Orton will go ahead and defeat TAMA TONGA Friday night on SmackDown. So let's go down that lane first under the strong assumption that that is the King of the Ring match. When the King of the Ring started earlier this month, did you foresee Randy Orton versus Gunther in the finals?
I really didn't. I thought that Orton might have lost a match earlier due to the bloodline. I thought they'd get involved maybe in the second round. But that wasn't the case. He's advanced through 2 rounds and now looking to get through TAMA TONGA to get to the finals. So, yeah, I thought it would have happened earlier. Thought there would have been some interference. What about you?
Yeah, so Orton went ahead and faced AJ Styles in one and beat Carmelo. TAMA TONGA beat Angelo Dawkins, filling in for Bob Lashley, and defeat LA Knight. Gunther defeated Sheamus, Kofi, and Jey Uso last Monday on Raw in the Raw finals to make it to the King of the Ring. When I saw the brackets, I thought it was tailor-made for Gunther, but I thought it would be Gunther and LA Knight. I thought that was the kind of the match that they felt like they wanted to go with. I understand now, like in retrospect, maybe they didn't want LA Knight to lose a high-profile match. Maybe have him lose in a kind of fuckery way, tomfoolery way, where they have bigger plans for him in the summer. So that kind of makes more sense. But when I saw it and I did my bracketology, I had LA Knight on the SmackDown side and I had Gunther on the Raw side, with King Gunther emerging as your king. If we end up with Randy Orton versus Gunther, do you foresee Gunther being your King of the Ring? Or do you think Randy Orton gets the legacy rub here?
I would love to see. I would love to see the Apex Predator become the king of WWE, but I do feel like the King Viper. But this is the K in RKO stands for King. But I think it's gonna go to Gunther. If I was a betting man, which I am, I would probably bet the house on Gunther winning. It just feels like maybe they want to add on top of the resume.
Transition him up
on
the
top
card.
of that,
Really good.
That strong title run he had, maybe didn't have all the effects that they had wished. So let's give him the King of the Ring. Let's get him up there and let's get this guy to Cody. Cody desperately needs a actual story, which is what him and his fan base have kind of booked themselves into a corner with. And now that he beat the big dog, there's been no real story outside of just regular title retention. They need something. I think Gunther's the guy that you can get an elongated program on top with Cody on the Raw side, or I guess SmackDown.
Yeah, it's kind of on the opposite shows here, but I can definitely see a path where they lean to each other sooner rather than later. And perhaps winning the King of the Ring would a way to propel him to the SmackDown side, where we're not sure if there's any stakes for this King of the Ring. In the past, there has been. In the past, there hasn't been. Maybe perhaps Gunther was eliminated twice by Randy or eliminated twice by Cody Rhodes in Royal Rumbles. So maybe he feels that he would take that win and call his shot. If it's, I don't want to say a Money in the Bank scenario, but more of a call your shot and who you want to face, not like a run in and a cash in. So yeah, that's you have Berlin coming in, Bash at Berlin at the end of the summer. Perhaps he calls his shot then. That makes a lot of sense. But yeah, Cody Rhodes definitely in resume building season for sure, and I think he'll build a fine resume, but it's just not week to week as exciting as other champions have been so far. We'll see where he goes, but that's plenty other time. But yeah, I think we both agree. King Gunther is the call versus Randy King Orton, not perhaps, but Randall Keith Orton as your runner up. Marcus, let's take this time and opportunity to talk TAMA TONGA. He debuted on the SmackDown after WrestleMania. What's your thoughts on him so far, first 6 to 8 weeks in the WWE?
I've been super impressed. He's brought an intensity that is usually severely lacking just in general in WWE. It feels like they kind of beat that out of people. They don't want it to look too intense, which I totally get, being a PG product still and, heavily marketing towards kids. And, they're very, rightfully so sensitive to over the top intensity these days, but he's been kind of a throwback. And I'm like, oh, wow, like this dude's intense, and they book him to make him look like a killer. and I really dig the presentation so far. It's been refreshing, and he already feels kind of established. I'm not going to say he's made yet, but he does feel established. And even so, if he takes this loss to Randy Orton, no one's going to ever lose anything losing to Randy Orton, but especially TAMA TONGA. He's been built pretty well so far. So if this is his first pinfall loss, he could lose by disqualification as well. But if they decide to beat him in the middle of the ring, he's been built up pretty well so far.
Yeah, that was actually my next question. Do you think it's a clean victory, or do you think it's dirty or whatever, slip on a banana peel whatsoever?
I would go the disqualification route and really injure Orton going into the match versus Gunther, which is just going to be the next night. So I think that gives Orton a little bit of story between the two nights, which he has really excelled at. Really, his whole career, he's always been great at that. But especially since the comeback at Survivor Series, Orton has been so good with just selling like little injuries that happen during a match or anything like that. He's just been so good. So I think you could get a lot of mileage out of, a knee injury or a shoulder or whatever, the back, going back to the back. I could see that.
Yeah, and Gunther has really been establishing that Boston Crab, this whole King of the Ring, which is probably building for that moment with Randy Orton. So yeah, it makes a lot of sense. All those building blocks really compiling in one match and the finals. So yeah, I like it. I love it. Tama, I'm pretty impressed with too. Gorilla's Destiny, a solid team in New Japan. Did some strong work against the Briscoes in 2019 in ROH. They're just a solid team. Tama, the better wrestler out of the two. Tungaloa does add some like kind of aura and suspense, but TAMA TONGA is that probably the more talented one out of the two. I'm curious if they find themselves in a tag team wherever Jacob Fatu lands on whatever side of the bloodline he lands on. I think that Tama kind of finds his footing on a tag team with his brother, but I do like that they have established him really strong in the first 6 to 8 weeks, and he's been a pivotal to the new bloodline. So I know you're a bloodline guy like me. What's your thoughts on the new bloodline as we're kind of here in the finals also? You think Solo's doing his part, or is he more of a, I don't know, looking like the Weekend too much?
I would say he's 2 for 2 on like the major bloodline segments. The first one being the MSG bloodline 40-minute segment on SmackDown from last year. And then the one where he kind of where he does take the phone and he squashes it, and it's the consequences promo.
Yeah, his energy was strong there.
Yeah, so I those two things, he's when the spotlight's really big, he's delivered both times. So you surround him with a group, build him up week to week, give him some room, and worst case scenario, if it doesn't work out, we can kind of tell where this is going from watching wrestling our whole lives, that, we're going to get Roman, we're going to get the Usos back on the same page. And if this just ends up being, Roman needs a new boss to beat when he comes back, that's okay too. And, it's good stuff. So keep Roman strong. That's my concern.
We can look for any excuse to talk bloodline, and we happen to find it in the King of the Ring finals. I think we both agree that Gunther is the pick. It should be the pick, and there perhaps was a video where we talk about King of the Ring. And would you perceive Gunther to be a breakout King of the Ring winner, an establishment King of the Ring winner, or a cartoonish King of the Ring winner, if those were your 3 King of the Ring categories?
Oh, it's got to be an establishment, I think.
Yeah.
I think. Yeah.
Or even a breakout, really, if he's going to break that glass ceiling to the next level. He's
That's true too, yeah.
So a little bit mix of both. I don't think there's zero chance he's going to be a cartoon King of the Ring. This preview is out before our video on Saturday, but we are going the 15 years of King of the Ring, non-King of the Ring years, and we kind of fantasy book a winner for each. So we just recorded that, Marcus. I had a lot of fun doing that, and I can't wait for the people to see it Saturday.
Yeah, King of the Ring, the lost years, the missing years. We're going through year by year, and we're giving our picks for who would have made a great King of the Ring that year. So yeah, it was a fun project, a fun experiment, and hopefully everybody gets to go check that out here on the No Sell.
Yeah, for sure. That video will be out Saturday. But that's it for now, Marcus. Thank you for jumping on and previewing the King of the Ring finals, buddy.
Thank you for having me. See you guys.